behavior. The September curse is in effect. This month remains a key factor for the markets. Welcome back to Chief Weekly Market Analysis, where we dive into the most critical market movements and trends. This week, we've seen a deeper sell-off in both traditional and crypto markets, with Bitcoin dropping to 53k, stocks plummeting, and even gold losing ground. The September curse is in effect, and the next question on everyone's mind is, where are we headed next? I'm Isaac Martinez, trader and analyst for Chief, and I'm here to guide you through the key factors that are making these moves and what investors need to watch as we enter the final quarter of the year. Let's dive in. So first of all, we are going to analyze the economic calendar. In the week of September 10th to 14th, the economic calendar shows important events that may impact financial markets. On Tuesday, September 10th, at 8 a.m. UK time, the claimant count change in Great Britain and unemployment indicator will be released. On the same day, at 2:10 p.m. Canada time, the Governor of the Bank of Canada, Tiff Macklem, will give a speech that could influence the Canadian dollar. On Wednesday, September 11th at 8 a.m. UK time, the UK's monthly GDP is expected to be released, projected at a growth of 0.2%. At 2:30 p.m. US time, the US Corp Consumer Price Index, or CPI, and monthly and annual CPI will be announced. The core CPI and monthly CPI are expected to show an increase of 0.2%, while the annual CPI may drop from 2.9% to 2.6%. On Thursday, September 12th, at 2:15 p.m. Eurozone time, the European Central Bank ECB will announce the main refinancing rate, which could rise from 3.65% to 4.25%. At 2:30 p.m. in the US, the Core Producer Price Index (PPI) and the General PPI will both be released, with projections for 0.2% monthly growth. The US will also reveal the number of initial unemployment claims, forecasted at 229,000 new claims. Finally, at 2:45 p.m. Eurozone time, the ECB will hold a press conference to discuss possible changes in monetary policy. And now let's continue to the most important news of the week. This week, gold showed irregular behavior, with moderate ups and downs around the 2,500 level, but no drastic changes in its value. Despite this movement, Wall Street experts are increasingly pessimistic about gold's near-term future, while retail investors remain optimistic. Uncertainty about the upcoming Federal Reserve decisions is impacting the market. Many traders are expecting an interest rate cut at the next meeting of September 17th and 18th, which could influence gold prices. However, some analysts like Philip Stravel believe a significant correction is possible before seeing another rise in gold prices. On the other hand, some experts point out that the US economy is not in its best shape, and latest employment data, although mixed, does not change the expectation that the Fed will reduce rates. However, there is nervousness in the market about whether this cut will be 25 or 50 basis points. On other news, financial markets experience a widespread sell-off, with Bitcoin, stocks, and precious metals all recording significant losses. The September curse continues to weigh on markets, with Bitcoin falling to $53,113, 530% drop in the past 24 hours, and gold trading at $2,496 per ounce. Analysts note that the correlation between the cryptocurrency market and the stock market has remained strong. The release of the US jobs report, which showed lower than expected job growth in August, caused a brief spike in Bitcoin's price to $57,000 before bidders took control and pushed it back below $54,000. Federal Reserve's decision on whether to cut interest rates this month remains a key factor for the markets. Depending on how investors interpret the labor report, we could see more risks flowing into assets like cryptocurrencies if a rate cut is anticipated, or an outflow of capital if wage gains spark inflation concerns. The very sentiment is also reflected in the outflows from Bitcoin exchange traded funds, the ETFs, with net outflows totaling more than $287 million, the largest since May 2024. Sessions in Bitcoin's derivatives market are also showing reduced demand for leverage, indicating that traders are taking a more cautious stance. As for altcoins, most suffered heavy losses. Among the top 200 tokens only SUI posted gains, rising a modest 1.6%, while people led the declines with an 11.8% loss. The cryptocurrency market capitalization now stands at 1.87 trillion, with Bitcoin maintaining a dominance of 55.9%. And finally, let's see the charts. As always, we start with the US dollar index, and I would like you to see that there is a movement that is defending in this point. We are seeing right now a higher low from this last point, and that means that the US dollar index could be doing an upward movement for the next week. One of the bullish objectives I have for this week was here. It was a fair value gap, but well, we see that with today's movement, we have reached that objective. So if we continue with this bullish pressure, we could see the next objective starting from 101.915 points with the US dollar index. And the next objective, if we continue with this upward movement, maybe it could be 102.560 points for the US dollar index. So this week, if you are doing trading with the US dollar index, consider these objectives for your trading. Talking about the SP 500, I can see that we have several objectives for this week. If you are bearish with the market, you could establish 3 objectives for this week. The first one is 5,364 points. The next one will be 5,280 points. And the last objective, and I mean this objective is pretty important to not lose it, because if the SP 500 loses this point, there is a high probability that we could continue with the downward movement. And this crucial price is 5,119 points. On the other hand, if you are bullish with the price, well, we can establish 2 objectives. The first one is 5,650 points, and the last objective, if you are bullish, is obviously 5,669 points, where we have a lot of liquidity that the price could use to maybe start falling down. Now, talking about the euro US dollar, we can see that this day was pretty bad for the euro, and that's because we are really close to the last objective, the last price that we need to defend if we want to stay bullish with the euro, and that is the 1.10265 points. If this price is broken, there is a possibility that we could see more downward movements that can reach bearish targets. On the other hand, if you are bullish with the euro, I think one of the most important targets for you will be the 1.10669 points, and the other one, which is the last high I can see, and the next high that is holding a lot of liquidity, will be 1.11556 points. Consider those targets for your trading. And last but not least, we're talking now about Bitcoin. Bitcoin 4 hours chart, we're seeing today strong upward movement that can be reflected with this candle. Really nice candle. Yes, I can see that if we continue with this trend, it is possible to maybe reach bullish objectives. And there I draw some objectives for you for this week. The first one is related to the fair value gap, and also the 0.5 of this fair value gap, which is in the $57,562. The next target will be $58,500, and the last target maybe for this week, $59,817 for the bullish targets we have for this week. Now I think this zone is crucial for Bitcoin, because if we lose the $52,500, there is a high risk that we can see downward movements for Bitcoin to reach the $49,000. So don't forget $52,500, crucial support for Bitcoin this week. And there you are. I hope you have enjoyed this analysis. Don't forget to give thumbs up and subscribe, and stay tuned for next videos here on XShift YouTube channel. Bye bye.